Hi, it's Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book to read for you. Today's book is The Case of the Missing Sock from 1986. So let's get started. Shuffling socks Welby heard the scream and dropped the dozer stick he was holding. His fur stood on edge. Someone was yelling and it sounded like Boomer. Welby looked around, but there was no Boomer in sight. I better go see what's wrong, he thought. So he ran off toward Boomer Cave. When he got there, the first thing he saw was Boomer. The second thing he saw was Boomer clothesline. On the clothesline, as usual, was Boomer socks. Boomer, who was usually blue, was always short of red. He was staring at one of the socks on the line, and he seemed very annoyed. "What's the matter?" Wilby asked. I heard you yell. It happened again, Boomer said angrily. "Someone's stealing them. I'm sure of it." "Stealing what?" Wilby asked. "Stealing my socks. Every morning I come to take my socks down off the line, and every morning one sock is missing." "That's impossible," Wilby said. "Fraggle never steals." "It's not impossible," Boomer retort. "Look," he pointed to an empty space in the even row of socks. One of them was definitely missing. A Fraggle stealing anything was about as difficult to imagine as a dozer going swimming, but the socks was gone. "What are you going to do?" asked Wilby. "I'm going to catch whoever it is," Boomer said. "I'm going to build a trap for our sock thief." "Can I help?" Wilby asked politely. He was a very helpful Fraggle. "I guess so," Boomer said grimly. "Unless you are the one who's been stealing my socks." "Boomer," Wilby cried. "I'm sorry," Boomer muttered. "I don't know what gotten into me. I'm just so upset." "That's okay, Boomer," said Welby. "We'll find out what's been happening to your socks together." So Welby joined Boomer in collecting the sticks and strings and other things needed to build the trap. "Wouldn't it be easier just to wash the socks until someone decided to steal one?" Welby asked as they worked. "It might," Boomer said, "but I don't intend to be anywhere near here when the thief appears. After all, I have my health to think of." It took Boomer and Welby all day to find the but finally the trap was finished. Welby and Boomer laid awake in the dark, waiting for the sock feet to strike. As they laid there, Welby started thinking. "Boomer," he asked, "why do you suppose only one sock is stolen every night?" "I have no idea," Boomer said grumpily. "Maybe it's not a Fraggle who's stealing your socks," Welby went on. "Maybe it's a horrible one-footed hopping something or other." "I hadn't thought of that," said Boomer, wishing that Welby hadn't thought of it either. "Or maybe Welby was just warming up. It's a big blue-nosed goober looking for a nose warmer. It's enough to curl your tail just thinking about it." It was more than enough to curl Boomer's tail. In fact, it tied his tail into an unusual big knot. Suddenly, there was a noise. The trap had sprung. Boomer and Welby looked at each other. "Maybe Welby begun. We better forget the whole thing." Boomer shook his head. "Absolutely not," he said. "Under normal, I can be as terrified as any other Fraggle. I can actually be more terrified, but those are my socks." With that, he jumped out of bed. Welby couldn't let Boomer go alone, so he got up too. But when they got to the trap, it was empty, and another sock was missing. Well, Wilby said, I guess we're late. Can we go back now? Boomer said, holding up his hand. Do you hear something? There was a strange flutter, rushing noise in the tunnel ahead of them. That must be the thief, whispered Boomer. Follow that sound. And follow it they did. Up and down, around and finally out of Fraggle Rock and into the wow of the gorge garden. Do we have to do this? Asked Wilby. It's very dark out here. I have to save my socks, Boomer said, even if some evil or terrible had taken them, which it probably has. Wilby had never seen Boomer so brave. As a matter of fact, he had never seen Boomer brave at all. Boomer was usually a terrible coward, but he loved his laundry and loved it often stronger than fear. And since Wilby loved Boomer, he followed. The gorge garden seemed to grow darker and darker. The sound of the wind in the tree turned into whispering laughter. Stone rose up from the ground to trip them, and the tall grass reached to grab them. Yet brave Boomer and Wilby followed the fluttering noise that would lead them to Boomer's socks, or so they hoped. Finally, they stopped in front of a large tree. That's where it lives, said Boomer, looking up. The tree was huge. Its branches reached so high that neither Fraggle could tell where the tree ended and the sky began. Now what? Wilby asked. Without a word, Boomer started to climb. You know, Wilby said, climbing up after him. Whatever up there probably can't be as bad as the thing we have been imagining. It's probably worse, Boomer answered, but I don't care. It has my socks. The two friends climbed and climbed. They climbed so high they could barely see the ground. They finally reached the topmost branches of the giant tree. That's where they saw it for the first time. It's the little fluttering cries Boomer, almost falling out of the tree. So that's where they live. And there are your socks, Wilby breathed. I guess flutterbugs like socks as much as you do. No, said Boomer gently. Look again. Wilby did, and what he saw made him start to smile. Fiber Boomer socks was hanging from a branch, all in a row. Inside each of them was tiny baby flutterbugs being rocked to sleep by the night breeze. Without another word, Boomer and Wilby climbed down the tree again. The garden had become a very different place. The trees and grass gently swayed, almost as if the whole world was rocking itself to a deep and peaceful sleep. You know, Boomer said as they climbed into the hole to Fraggle Rock, if you're not afraid to go looking, sometimes you can find something worth looking for. The mystery was solved, but after that, there was a new mystery in Fraggle Rock. Every once in a while, Boomer would leave just a single sock on the clothesline. None of the other Fraggle knew why, and Boomer and Wilby wasn't telling. So that was the case of the missing socks from 1986. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, have a groovy day with another video coming out real soon.